Hi, my name is Labat, and I've been a part of Hope Chapel for 5 years now. I was an intern, and I was a part of small groups and worship and just many different communities here at Hope Chapel. And when I came in, I had this idea of what church was. I had this idea of being involved in an ohana, and for me, honestly, I thought a lot of it was what I could get out of being here. It was, what can I grow in? How can I obviously serve, but at the same time, what can I get out of it? And I realized over time that my perspective and my experience, it was just really selfish. And I found myself discouraged and bitter and just struggling with being here at Hope. So then I began to pray and ask God, is this where you have me? Is this a church you want me at? And Lord, do I have the wrong perspective of what a family, what a church means? And so through that, I began to really pray and I began to really ask God. And so about 1.5 years ago, I spent time reading through the Psalms, and I was asking the Lord to change my heart, just like David talks about in Psalm 51. And I was praying and I was asking God, man, I feel like there's something I'm not understanding about church. And as I was praying, God began to really work in my heart, and he began to shift and change my perspective of what does it mean to be a part of a church? What does it mean to be a part of an ohana? And as I dove in, as I began to realize that it's not about me, that it's about serving, that it's about giving, that it's about just jumping in about what God is already doing here and not me coming in trying to fix or do my own thing, but being a part, God began to bless me in amazing ways. And it was really a miracle. It was something that I never thought I could really understand, just the joy of being a part of an ohana and being a part of my family. I jumped in, I got to be a part of Celebrate Recovery. I got to be I still am a part of Celebrate Recovery. And then I got to be a part of worship nights and the worship community and ohana groups at the Martins and just with so many other people. And I began to see God just like really blessing and changing me from the inside out. And then in the midst of all of this, about 4 months ago, I had gone into the doctors. I had found a lump in my collarbone, and so I went in thinking that one of the other doctors said, it's probably just a cyst. Let's just go look at it, take care of it. I didn't think much of it, and I go in, and then about a week after that, I'm on my way to Hope Chapel to actually meet with a group of ohana people, and from there I get a call, and the doctor says, "Hey, Lauren, we actually found cancer," and I remember going into shock. I remember being really scared, not knowing what to do. And the most amazing thing though is I felt this fear, this pain, this uncertainty, and I walk into the living room, and John and Susan and Tori are all standing there waiting for me to come in because I'd called them with the news. And as I'm sitting there crying and overwhelmed and scared, they are just like praying over me and taking care of me. And throughout this entire process, my ohana, my CR people, my worship people, my just family never left my side, whether it was doctor's appointments, whether it was needing food, whether it was coming and going to Oahu. I just felt so supported and so safe. And so I don't know necessarily where everyone is at when it comes to being a part of a church or being a part of an ohana, but I'm a living proof of a miracle that God can do amazing things. And when you jump in, when you actively choose to be a part, when you serve, you realize that in that God will continue to bless you. And so I encourage you in this season, jump into an ohana group. I'm just so thankful that God's going to allow me to be there for my ohana just like they've been there for me.